Ooh, this fragrance is a goodie. And I feel like we've talked about it many times on the channel, but we've never actually reviewed the fragrance. It's always been the fragrance being referenced to. So strap up, grab a drink, grab a snack. Let's go for that ride. Without further ado, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. Well, late evening, actually. Yeah, this almost deceived me, right? Because when you look at this, what do you think it is? If you read it quickly, it says Dolce Gabbana Pour Homme, and it's not even colorized like the fragrance that it actually is, which is none other than Dolce Gabbana K Eau de Parfum. You know, it says Pour Homme at the top. I think that's just, I'm not even going to begin to say why I think it's listed there, but it says Eau de Parfum under it. And in the inside, you see that it says Fig. So anytime I see Fig, I immediately know it's talking about K. So that is the fragrance we're going to be reviewing today. And I'm very familiar with this fragrance. I love this fragrance. You guys know me. I'm a Fig lover. I love anything with Fig. And I think in terms of Fig, this is one of the maybe top 3 best renditions with the note of Fig in it for commercial fragrances to me. You know, some of you guys know more nuanced fragrances I've never heard of that have the note of Fig, but K is certainly special. There aren't many fragrances in the Dolce & Gabbana line I'm a fan of. I think, you know, the one is classic, but it just doesn't move me. I'm going to be honest, guys. I keep looking for a lid, and I just realized there is no lid. But, you know, the one is, it just, something about it feels old school to me, the DNA itself. You know what I'm saying? It's clean, it's nice, it's sweet, it's sensual, but it's not anything, it doesn't fit me. You know what I mean? And I try to go back, you know, would it have fit me as a teenager or early in college? Maybe as like my first romantic date night fragrance. But man, I still think back, there's just so many better options. So for me, the one is never something I purchased a bottle of. Now, I had friends that have purchased the one, and I've smelled it many times. So I'm not confused about how I feel about it. It just has never really grabbed me, and I think it was before my time. You know, it came out when I was a kid, but it still just was not that special to me. You know, granted, I was not a connoisseur. I was not an enthusiast. I had 5 or less bottles of fragrance at that time, but I remember coming across it and just feeling like it wasn't my cup of tea. Dolce & Gabbana K, however, is different. Now, I'm going to tell you guys right now, you have to be a Fig lover to appreciate the level of sweetness and the type of sweetness of a fragrance like this. Ah, so nice. So nice. If I could, you know, I miss that I don't do this as much anymore because I try to talk about notes and stuff a lot. But there are some fragrances where notes are completely unnecessary, or just like the breakdown of notes is unnecessary. And this is one of those cases. Dolce & Gabbana K really, it really, in a nutshell, it is a kind of modern, I hate to even say fougère, because this is not fougère by any stretch of the imagination. It's not even modern fougère. It has no essence from the barbershop green feel, but it definitely has like almost like a, oh man, this is going to be tough, guys, but I got to take you there. It's almost like a, it's almost like a combination between a really lathered up shaving cream, almost Palo Santo-y shaving cream with a hint of boy toy in it, meaning like sweetness, but The sweetness of that fig is so distinct. You have to smell fig to know the sweet blast that I'm getting here. It's almost like somebody took a Palo Santo expensive shaving cream and like smeared a juicy fig all in it to where, you know, like 60-70% of this fragrance, well, I can't even say that either. 60% of this fragrance is fig, the cleanest, almost minty cooling, aromatic fig. And it's so light and it's so airy, but it's so robust and pungent. It's almost juicy and airy at the same time. And then the backbone 40% is just like, it's almost like a Palo Santo. Is Palo Santo wood? Let me look. What is Palo Santo? I make this reference a lot, and sometimes I question if it's a good reference. Known in Spanish as Palo Santo, is a wild tree. Okay, so when they extract for fragrance, we're talking about wood, right? Okay, yeah. So Palo Santo is kind of like a very fragrant, incensey type of wood. That's all you need to know. I didn't want to get super educational with it, but again, 60% of it is this like beautiful, crisp, clean, pungent but airy and aromatic fig note. It's a majority of the fragrance, but at least 40% of it is kind of this Palo Santo-y type of wood. Maybe the tiniest freshness from citrus, not distinct. You can't make out lemon or lime or grapefruit or anything like that. You just get like a tiny tinge to the fig note of citrus that freshens it and makes it more invigorating. But in a nutshell, this smells like an expensive kind of sweet, frothy beard cream, not oil. You know, Palo Santo fig combo is the vibe I get. It's sophisticated. It's perfectly sweet. You guys know I'm not a big fan of sweet fragrances. On the sweet scale, though, this is about a 6 or a 7 out of 10 in terms of the power of sweetness. But I'm not mad at it because it's dressed up to be so beautiful, so sophisticated. It's playful masculine, but it's one of the very few sweet masculine fragrances that doesn't feel boy toy, doesn't feel any less manly. Like somehow it's sweet, but it still feels hyper masculine to me. The reason I brought up the whole thing about not wanting to call it Fougère is because I want to call it Fougère. I want to say that this is 2024 Fougère, even though the fragrance didn't come out during that time. This fragrance launched in 2020, though. It's fairly new. This is Fougère evolved. This is what it evolved to, where you start taking, okay, without the fig, you would have a Fougère vibe because it's primarily this Palo Santo, very woody, somewhat green. It's fresh. It's got a little bit of spice, warm, ambery. Fougère, right? But when it's drenched in fig, it evolves it and takes it more modern and to a new place and gives it this sweetness that Fougères typically don't really have. You know, the sweet that I'm familiar with Fougère is like resinous sweet, maybe tiny citrus sweet, woody sweet. Not really sweet unless amber's introduced, right? But this is like drenched. It's almost like the same boozy drench as you get from like what is the booziness in Bentley for Men Intense. But this is fig, right? This isn't alcohol. This isn't sugar. It's not fruit. You know, this is just, well, is fig a fruit? I don't know. I'm trying to get you guys to smell this, man. It is fig and Palo Santo in a nutshell. Let's call it what it is. Okay, we've gone 10 minutes. What do you need to know about this fragrance? It probably runs in the let's see, as far as price is concerned, $70 for the 6.7 bottle. Wow. Oh, wait, we're on eBay. That's not reliable. Let's see. It keeps taking me to eBay. Let's look on Amazon. Walk with me. Okay, so the 100 ml is $120, but you could probably safely get it somewhere between 80 and 120 for the 100 ml. I don't think this fragrance is something that you bust out like every day. I think if you're somebody who's 25 and under, this could be a great signature fragrance for you. It's pretty versatile, even though it's got a dominant note of fig. It definitely has a lot of signature for me, in my opinion, personally. But if you're 25 and up, you don't always want to go out smelling like fig. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you're trying to switch it up. You're hitting the fresh, you're hitting the clean, you're hitting the sophistication, you're hitting the sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just getting in different bags. So you're not going to just always want to smell like fig and Palo Santo. So for an older man over 25, I think this is a fragrance where it warrants at least 50 ml because it's got so much signature with that fig note that you're going to want to bust it out often, just not a ton, you know, a couple times a month type vibe. What do I think the occasion's for? I think it's ageless. I think it's any season, any reason, though it seems like it may be a cold weather fragrance. But in heat, I would wear this as well. As long as you're indoors, don't wear it outside on a super hot day. It's going to kind of I think it'll change the composition of it on your skin to not be as desirable. But I think decent weather to cold. This is going to be an any season, any reason fragrance, ageless fragrance. It'll be more signature for the older man because he's going to bust it out more rarely, but it'll be a signature everyday scent for 25 and down. I think this could really be everything from casual to semi-formal. It's too sweet to be formal for me, but it's safely, perfectly sweet enough to where, I don't know, man. I just really like it because for how sweet it is, I'm surprised how masculine it comes off. The woods behind it really project through the fig somehow, even though it's drenched in fig, almost boozy-like. The woods push forward enough to give it like this crazy amount of sophistication and earthiness and woodiness that I support how sweet it actually is. I also think that just the note of fig has been done really beautiful here. There's nothing synthetic about this sweetness. This smells like a nice, fresh, juicy fig. What else do you need to know? Do I think of any alternatives? No. There's a lot of fig fragrances that come to mind. I think if you've never put your nose to fig, you need to get sea salt and fig from Old Navy, right? Old Navy, sea salt and fig. Kindred Goods. This fragrance right here. For 10 to 15 bucks, you can get this sea salt and fig. It looks like this or this. And this is a good entry-level fig to get your nose on to see if you like it. This is criminally underrated, but it does have kind of a body mist vibe to it, but it is fresh and it is fig, and sea salt and fig perfectly describes it. I have a bottle of it. My son wears it, but I was a fan of it before he was. But this is kind of, if you want to get your nose around the realm of what fig can smell like in a fragrance, I like this as a starter to anyone getting introduced to fig because it's cheap. It's very well formulated. It's a great concoction they've put together. And it's a similar note profile of fig as you get in Dolce & Gabbana's K Eau de Parfum. It's more fresh, more hyper real in K, but again, it smells just like this sea salt and fig here, just much better and higher quality. But you know, picture sea salt and fig with Palo Santo, and you have this fragrance right here. Yeah, closing thoughts. I'm trying to think. We're hitting 15 minutes kind of for no reason here. Yeah, I think you guys should get this fragrance. For me personally, I think it's like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. I highly recommend this fragrance. It's easily an 8, and because I love fig and Palo Santo, I personally I give it a 9. Like I would wear it often, and it would be an easy signature once in a while grab for me for like date night, for semi-formal, right? You know, to be a nice, this is a head turner fragrance, no question. Um, but yeah, I mean, if I'm keeping it real politically, I feel like I should call it an 8 out of 10 fragrance because it is so fig forward that not everybody's going to love that. But for me personally, I give it a 9. Signature, head turner, not generic, hyper quality on it, nothing really synthetic about it. The projection and longevity on this is going to be insane. Probably 10 plus hour fragrance easily. In the past, when I've worn it, 4 or 5 sprays, you're like, whoa, it's going to project throughout the day, stick on clothes. And for that reason is another reason why I think you should get the fragrance. The performance is stellar. You're not going to have to spray it a bunch on yourself to make it last long. The bottle presentation is beautiful. And to me, so far, this is the best release from Dolce & Gabbana. For me, people might have other opinions about that. Now, if you're on the fence as to whether or not to get the Eau de Parfum or, let me see, Dolce and Gabbana K, I think they do have a, I think they do have an Eau de Toilette version of K. Let me see. Oh, real quick, guys. I'm sorry. I'm killing time here, but I just feel like I need to show you guys this. This might be where you get a lot of the sophistication in this fragrance. And even though I've described it as fig and kind of Palo Santo vibes, there's a lot going on in this fragrance. Up top, blood orange, juniper, pimento, lemon, cardamom, fig, lavender, geranium, clary sage, cedar, patchouli, vetiver, cypriol oil. I can honestly say that if you were being hyper technical, you could smell just about all of that in this fragrance. However, for me, it's best explained as a fig and Palo Santo vibe because that's majority of the fragrance. Everything in the back is just in the back as dimension and sophistication. I was trying to look on here to see if they have an Eau de Toilette version, but either way, the Eau de Parfum is the best. Get the Eau de Parfum. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell so you guys can be aware of all the latest and greatest. I am parched. Man, that looks a lot redder on camera. For y'all know me, I get into my weird drinks. So this is a pressed watermelon that's been juiced, but I juice it manually so I can call it pressed, with sea moss in it. So, you know, you got your H3O plus sea moss. Very uplifting, invigorating, sweet beverage that's going to hydrate you, electrolyte you, and get all those minerals from the sea moss. Hey, I know none of y'all care about that, but hey, this is me, man. Oh, shoot, look at that. The heck? We're finding out all kind of stuff on camera today. The heck bit me? I'm going to go figure out who bit me. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Have a great night.